Hello everyone, I'm Wade, your knowledge host. By now, many of you may know that Taiwanese government has set plans in motion to make Taiwan a bilingual nation by the year 2030. English will be the second official language in addition to Mandarin. This government policy aims to target the education system, the public services, and those who are involved in foreign affairs in the administrative agencies. Let's take a look at some of the goals the government has set to achieve. The two major objectives of the government are to elevate national competitiveness and cultivate people's English proficiency. There are several individual strategies proposed by relevant competent ministries. In 2019, 50% of documents and license issued by the government that is related to foreign affairs set to have English versions. 60% of public service fields are regulated to have English signs, legends, and so on. 70% of government websites and the laws and regulation related to foreign affairs must have English versions, and part of government procurement information have to provide English services. In efforts to reach these targets, our education system has set plans to train 10,000 English teachers by the year 2030, broken down into 3 stages. The first stage is in fact already in motion, as they seek to train 2,000 new teachers between 2019 to 2022. The second is to train 3,000 more by the year 2026. And finally, in the years 2027 to 2030, 5,000 more. However, these educators' roles are not based solely on teaching students how to pass exams. Instead, their focus will be to help students understand and utilize English on a fundamental level while also using English in and out of class. This includes students in vocational high schools, who will have their classes such as cost accounting, car maintenance, and so on, all taught in English. Nisha Wolf, Research Director of Asian Corporate Governance Association, Taiwan branch, has lived in Taiwan for 25 years. Nisha applauds the effort and strategies to build up Taiwan as a bilingual country. She believes that when our education system is required to teach students in English, especially in vocational high school, this will allow our students to attain more opportunities at home and abroad.
But if you want to have any kind of professional career, if you want to have any kind of international opportunity, if you want to be a civil servant, you need it. You need it, especially because there's a real push now to try to attract more foreign talent to Taiwan. So even if you only want to work in a restaurant, you still need some English.
Other than the education system, former Foreign Affairs Minister Tian Hongmao recommends setting up prerequisites that require people applying for civil service positions, especially in high-ranking officials, to be proficient in English. It is when our leaders are capable and willing to speak English publicly while the rest of society follows suit.
The government need to have a system of planning, step by step, targeted at a certain sector of the society, make them able to speak English, require them to speak English in order to obtain job. For those who are not able to speak English on important position, you need to structure courses, require them to learn.
But as we all know, it's usually easier said than done. Even if high-ranking officials considered speaking English publicly, will they be able to overcome the pressure to speak in front of Mandarin-speaking colleagues, subordinates, superiors, and other counterparts in a meeting? And would it be more challenging to do so when it comes to facing a foreigner? Sherry Chen, the former member of the South African Parliament, encourages Taiwanese people to speak more without worrying about being grammatically correct.
所以后来我倒觉得说，我自己一个亲身的体验就是，
In my personal experience, it's already expected of us not to speak good English. So why worry so much? We shouldn't have to feel ashamed because English isn't our mother tongue language. To begin with, am I right? So what I've learned when it comes to language is to have a thick skin and try not to be shy. Do your best to speak and communicate your thoughts, utilizing what you already know to best express yourself.
Whenever I have chance to use English, I use it. And my kids was calling me every day. He said, Mom, if you don't speak, when you come back, your English going to be lost at all. I said, no, I'm going to keep it going on. So that's the reason I found out the news, your company, and I call.
Julie is a prime example of what it looks like to never stop being a student in life. She is able to communicate effectively and get her thoughts across in English, even though she isn't an English native speaker. Linguist Dr. Zhuang Yongsan is the man who introduced the CEFR system into Taiwan. As a professional English teacher, he believes that the best method of teaching and learning is to incorporate the CEFR system step by step.
在教学上面呢，不能一进来就教，不行。
When it comes to teaching, you cannot start without knowing at which level to teach. Therefore, it is important to establish a standard at which we can measure and test the knowledge of the students. This must be incorporated into the training and basic understandings of all teachers.
CEFR stands for the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, 欧洲共同语言参考架构. This learning and teaching assessment is composed of 6 English fluency levels, from beginners level at A1 all the way up to the native level at C2. Germany started using this system in 2001, whereas Taiwan was authorized to begin use of the CEFR in 2002. Currently, the Ministry of Education uses the CEFR system exclusively to promote the bilingual national policy. As resources in the administration system are limited, Dr. Zhuang Yongsan recommends the government to adopt more local NGO, non-governmental organizations' resources to help reach the goal of a bilingual country.
那么它可以借力使力，民间的力量是无穷的。
The government should utilize its strengths, the power of its people. For example, local companies such as yourself, FUNDAY already has a good network system in place. Secondly, academic institutions and public welfare units such as Lions Club International are already involved in all walks of life. So when the government implements the bilingual national policy for 2030, it should consider all aspects of its resources.
Cognitive neuropsychologist Jubin Abutalabi at the University of San Rafael in Milan says bilingual people have significantly more gray matters than monolinguals in their ACC, anterior cingulate cortex. And that is because they are using it much more often. The ACC is like a cognitive muscle. The more you use it, the stronger, the bigger, and more flexible it gets. It turns out bilinguals exercise the executive control all the time because their 2 languages are constantly competing for attention. Obviously, making Taiwan a bilingual nation not only helps to increase the competitiveness of the country, but can also improve the cognitive function of the Taiwanese people. 接下来我们跟 Ruby 请教一下，他对双语国家的看法和今天可以教我们的一些是什么？
Becoming a bilingual country definitely requires a lot of work. However, I believe it'll prepare the country's talents to compete internationally.
我同意。那我们应该都知道双语的英文是 bilingual, but Ruby, can you tell us more?
Sure. 可以把这个字拆开来看。The prefix bi means having 2. The Latin word lingual means tongue or language. So literally, the word means having the ability to speak 2 languages.
Where else can we use this prefix?
An easy example would be bicycle. Bi refers to the 2 wheels.
那只有一个轮子的脚踏车是叫什么？
We call them unicycles. And for bicycles with 3 wheels, we call them tricycles.
But we don't use uni as the prefix when we refer to a person who only speaks 1 language.
No. We say monolingual. Mono 指的是一个或一种. So monolingual means you are only fluent in 1 language.
So, are you ready to improve your English so you too can become a bilingual speaker? Well, I am Wade.
I'm Ruby.
I hope this episode of Knowledge was insightful and you learned some more English. Join us at the FUNDAY website to learn more. We'll see you next time.